Hello and welcome to Rauta's vinyl reviews. This time it's a real throwback time because Bloodthorn demo back in the early 90s now released on vinyl. Actually, this might have been out for quite some time. I got this as a present from the Whoredom Rife vocalist KR, who just happened to be the Bloodthorn vocalist as well back in the days. This is the era which I guess old school people will remember when Bloodthorn was about black metal, not death metal, which they got known for later on. The band has obviously been disbanded for many years now, so this is all about getting back to the kind of a classics thing. As you can see, as a GoatowaRex release, there is this OB strip, which is rarity in so many releases. I mean, you really don't have these in European versions. This is not a removable. It feels like it's a sticker here. Sometimes you can have these OB strips just like taken away, or maybe they are on top of the plastic wrapping. This one comes with a nice packaging, as always with GoatowaRex. Unfortunately, very, very limited. No, actually, this isn't sticker. It's just put it this way. Interesting. So, OB strip, still removable. Got that right. So, here is the Promo 96. And here you have Tom and Krell. And there you have lyrics. And, of course, there you have vinyl. I don't know, now that I feel a little bit silly saying that this could be non-removable. I mean, it's a strip for a reason and feels like odd to consider not even being removable, but it really felt like a sticker. The less you know. Anyway, this comes with a quality, I would say this is 180 grams vinyl. There's this print, not readable with my own very eyes, but it's sturdy as it's supposed to. So I'm guessing 130 grams black vinyl with white sleeve. And yes, that's the packaging. Couple of tracks. Natteskyggen. So let's go to the band's Metal Archive site for a little bit of backdrop while I put this one away. There it goes. And here we have it. 1992, Bloodthorn started to exist, and here it is on Metal Archives, labeled as symphonic/melodic black metal early. I can definitely agree with the melodic parts. Calling it symphonic is a little bit a stretch in my opinion, based on this release anyway. And later on they turned out to be a death metal band, which is more the feeling you get from the band promo photo as well. But back in 96, the thing was a little bit different, and that's exactly where this band or particular release goes anyway. And the band ceased to exist, at least according to Metal Archives. Never take it without a grain of salt. 2011, after a few years after their latest and last album, Genocide. But Natteskyggen, 1996, 2 tracks, about 22 minutes, and the lineup, according to this one, is just these 2 guys, much what it says here. And this is musically very typical demo material. They already have the style pretty much figured out until they weren't. I mean, after all, moving to death metal, which is exactly the opposite what a lot of black metal bands did in Norway back in the early 90s. I mean, death metal bands becoming black metal, not the other way around, but there are these few exceptions. And Bloodthorn was definitely going against the grain in that sense. But this early demo is quite different. First and foremost, these tracks are quite lengthy. Maybe too lengthy for their own good. But it's pretty decent for the kind of a demo material to consider it. I mean, sure, it sounds like demo when you consider the sound. I mean, the overall production here. And musically, it's more like a combination of better and not so great ideas. It's not bad by no means, but it's a very typical demo in the sense like you have some ideas and you're probably putting too much these ideas in one and the same song. And as such, these songs, 2 of them, are kind of a mixed bag of goodies. So there's certain parts where you feel like, okay, this is actually very atmospheric, nice melodies and all that stuff. And you have those rather raw black metal vocals, which KR or Krell is known for. But there are also ideas which feel clearly like there are fillers. Now, in hindsight, more experienced and all, these guys probably would have composed the songs rather different way. After all, they are not exactly that great. And it's really hard to make a memorable track, 14 minutes and all, to be, the full total spinning time. After all, so many bands would probably put these ideas into 2 or 3 different songs, and that would probably work a lot better. But like I said, guys were younger at that age, and they were probably figuring out what they want to do. So can't be too harsh about demo bands after all. But that being said, this is a lot better demo than so many bands doing these days, especially when the bands either skip the demo phase entirely and move on to album era, or then they are just outright sloppy with their demos. I'm not gonna say or defend this just because KR is a friend of mine that, this is some great stuff, because in fact it is not great. It's more like a time capsule which should be taken with the context. And as I said, as a demo, this is pretty good. As an album, not so much. I mean, it's enjoyable, but let's be honest about it. This is not the kind of stuff that you probably made you a Bloodthorn fan. It's just obvious, very much like your typical demo in that sense. Now, the packaging itself and this whole format done by GoatowaRex is obviously great. So, collector's item for sure. But if you are a Bloodthorn fan or you are a collector, this is probably the version you need to have. If you are only for the best parts and all, maybe then you can just stick with the better albums and all. But definitely an interesting release and worth giving a shot. It might feel a little bit outdated nowadays, 2025, given this is almost 30 years old. But be it as may, it is what it is, and a good reminder how things can change genre-wise and also production-wise, and as people get older, different perspectives come into play. Now, check out the links provided for Bloodthorn's music, and I hope you enjoy.